Welcome to the Single Lady Estates podcast. My name is Bobby Wasserman, and I'm the founder of Single Lady Estates. This is our third and final segment of our series with best-selling author, value investor, and investment guru, Mary Buffett. In our first episode, we talked about women and investing in a general sense. In our second episode, we focused on equity and the generational approaches when it comes to investing. Links to both of those episodes can be found in the show notes. In this third and final episode, we focus on investing post-pandemic. So we've all gone through a challenging 2 years. Let's fast forward post-pandemic to where people are rethinking their work-life balance, which, as we know, has a financial impact. So we're going to call the Great Resignation, we're going to call that the Great Refresh. And in my mind, Mary, you are uniquely qualified to talk about the financial implications of this refresh. What are your thoughts?
You know, it's been terribly interesting to watch because so many people lost their jobs because of COVID. I mean, it's an enormous amount of people out of work, and still a lot of companies are gone. And what I've noticed is that it's forced people to work from home, to find things to do. And it's kind of a great time because I've met more people that over these last 2 years have literally changed their lives because of COVID, because they had to work from home. They had to go and find something that was interesting to them and started a business or worked with businesses. It's just been really amazing to me.
From a financial perspective, do you have any words of wisdom for women opting to leave the workforce or shift how they work?
Well, I mean, that's one of the reasons that I say every time you get a check, put money aside. It's just that very reason, because there may be a time in your life when you want to make a major change. Leave your job, leave your husband, leave your children. No, but that gives a woman a chance. I mean, that's why investing is so important for me and for women to be doing, because just like a house, they have a long-term investment, and companies that we pick as value investors that have been around, that are going to be around, that are making you money over the long term.
I completely agree. And where older generations of women squirreled away money because they most likely did not have a job, now it's about being able to keep some semblance of independence in a crisis.
Right.
I'm also thinking about your daughter that you had mentioned in our previous episode. I'm curious if you're seeing from a great refresh perspective differences between a younger generation, like around 20 to 40 years old, and then from the over 60-year-old boomers in how they're handling post-pandemic investing.
Absolutely. I think I've never seen as many young people, and I'm talking about people that are 15 in high school, that have become aware about investing.
Technology has really become the great leveler for both investment purposes as well as entrepreneurial endeavors.
It's become very popular. I mean, years ago, there weren't that many people who talked about investing. You know, they were just out there kind of quiet. And now everybody's been investing because of the dot-com bubble and all of that. It got the world into investing. It put it in their heads. So I see that a lot more young people are very interested in investing, not only in the stock market, but in homes and the stock market.
Excellent.
I want to just say, know what you're buying. That's the main thing. No, understand the companies. Like when I said, look around your house and figure out what you use a lot. And you might be surprised, what those things are worth.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
It's something I find that young people are much, much more aware of now than ever before. I think a lot of that had to do with Google and Apple because they all had those products. I mean, that's when I bought Apple. When my son was going to college, we went down to the Apple store. I hate to shop. So I was in that store just going out of my mind. And my son looked at me and he's like, Mom, you know what? This is a stock that you should buy. And I thought to myself, you know what? He's right. I'm spending a fortune here. and I did, and I bought it.
Right now, during this great refresh, are there 3 to 5 questions that women should ask themselves prior to making any substantial changes?
Well, I would say the very first question would be, what's the least amount of money you can live on? Your budget is everything. So you got to live very modestly, watch what you're spending your money on, because it's just like my son, when I went to see him at college, he's like, oh, Mom, can we stop at Starbucks? I want to get a cup of coffee. I'm like, sure. We went in and I was like, oh my God, this is like $8, and I said to him, Sam, let me explain to you, how many times do you go here? Let's talk about what that money could actually mean in the future. So for women also, I mean, this is what we want to think about. We want to live as cheaply as possible, so we're saving as much money. We want to know what our budget worst case scenario can be. And hopefully you want to be investing in something that over a long period of time is going to be worth much more than when you bought it.
Excellent. Excellent, Mary. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for asking me. I love your show. Continued success. And to all the women out there, don't be afraid to invest in yourselves.
I feel now that our entire Single Lady Estates community has a master's in financial education. We really encourage you to visit Mary's website at marybuffett.com and sign up for her newsletters. Be sure to follow her on social media. Her books are all available on Amazon and via her website, and they're all bestsellers. For the Single Lady Estates community, we are going to continue the conversation online, so join us at singleLadyEstates.com.